All right, Megan, I'm going live now.
All right, great. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Halloween virtual field trip of the fall season, hanging out with bats. I'm your host, Megan Selva, Environmental Programs Coordinator for the City of Melbourne. Bree and Katie with the Marine Resources Council are our moderators today, so they're in the background. We'll be exploring the life and our wonderful pollinators and furry friends, bats. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our special guest today, Angela Stull with the Lubee Bat Conservancy in Gainesville, Florida. She'll be hanging out with some of our Florida native and fruit bats to teach us cool facts about these wonderful creatures, their diet, behaviors, and their awesome, amazing senses. I want to just share a quick reminder to you before we introduce the speaker. All participants are muted, and if you do have a question for our bat expert, please put them in the Q&A box, and we'll answer them, answer as many as possible at the end of the presentation. So Angela is the education coordinator and keeper at Lubee Bat Conservancy. She's a graduate from the University of Florida with a Bachelor of Science in Zoology and a Master of Arts in Teaching from Miami University. During her graduate studies, she traveled to Borneo, where she gained an appreciation for bats in the wild and learned how local communities work with nature for mutual sustainability. Angela started her animal career at Disney's Animal Kingdom and then transitioned into teaching. After working as a science teacher for 14 years, she joined Lubee as their education coordinator. You can meet Angela during a private tour of Lubee during #LubeeLive or on a Zoom tour. Angela spends her off time with her dog and cat and enjoys hiking and relaxing by the river. Thank you so much for joining us today, Angela. If you could unmute yourself so we can all hear you, and I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Megan.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for
I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about Lubee. So Lubee Bat Conservancy is a place where we're dedicated to saving and educating about bats. We also help to support conservation issues, anything that we can do related to bats and helping to protect them in the wild and with our current population. So we do that through our education and our conservation. We even have some researchers that come here. So we do a little research as well. But today I'm going to talk to you about some of our bats. We actually have two major groups of bats, the microbats and the megabats. And I'm going to introduce you to one of our microbats. He's a native of Florida and he loves to eat insects. So we're going to take a look at him and learn a little bit more about him. So
Angela, do you mind just explaining?
What's that?
Hey, Angela, do you mind just explaining why you're wearing a mask for everyone?
Yes.
I know it's a little hard to hear you, but it's for an important reason.
Yes. So we don't want to transmit any diseases from the staff to our bat population. So we are very careful about wearing masks whenever we're around each other and when we're around our bats. Since we found that diseases that can be transferred from animals to humans called zoonotic diseases are possible in this day and age, we wear a mask whenever we're around our bats. That way we know that our bat population is being safe and protected. I don't think they've come up with any type of vaccination for bats for COVID. So we just try to take care and we can take precautions that they can't. And right now we're actually meeting one of our microbats. His name is Nicola. And Nicola is, as you can see, an insect-eating bat. So he is a big brown bat, which is common here in the US. And he's a really, really important animal because as an insect eater, that means he can eat all of those bugs we don't like. right now he's eating a couple of mealworms, which he really enjoys. But as an insect eater, he can eat mosquitoes, he can eat moths, he can eat all kinds of different bugs. So for me, that's really great because I always seem to get eaten up by mosquitoes. And so this way, I know that I'm going to be getting help from a lot of my native local bats. Also, sometimes there are bugs that like to eat our crops. That means the food that we grow for us to eat. So this way, if we have a lot of bats around, those bats can hopefully eat those bad bugs, those bugs that want to come and eat our crops, that want to come and eat the food that we're growing. So I really like having him around. Another really interesting thing about him is you might notice his very big ears. And you might even notice sometimes when he opens up his mouth and lets the sound out. So he is an echolocator. This bat is able to do echolocation, kind of like what you may think a dolphin does. He sends out a very high-pitched ultrasonic sound, and that sound goes through the air, and then it bounces off other things, and it makes an echo. That echo is what he is listening for with those big, big ears of his. There you go. Then that echo will tell him where the bugs are. So that's really, really good. You can also see that he looks very furry. So Nicola, he is a mammal, just like we are. So as a mammal, he has hair. So you get a chance to kind of see how much hair he has. But also as a mammal, he has a 4-chambered heart. He breathes air just like we do. And he has a lot of the other systems just like we do. In fact, when bats have babies, the babies are born alive just like humans are. So they don't lay eggs. They're not birds, but they are mammals just like you and I and me. And what they'll do is once they have their babies, they'll nurse them and raise them. Usually they're going to nurse a baby. At least some of our larger bats will nurse their babies for almost 6 months. And then once they start to get past that point, they'll still hang out with mom a lot, but they won't need her as much. They'll start eating their own food. So that's really helpful. What is very interesting about Nicola is that he is a mammal that is able to fly. There are no other mammals that are able to fly. He has muscles in his wings, and those muscles will help him fly around and find his food. So we might be able to look a bit closer at him. But you can see his wings. He has his wings continue all the way back here around his legs, all the way around his arm. So his arm is very similar to yours, if you can see. Hey, Nicola, can we see your wings? There he goes. Hi, Nicola. So he's looking around right now for a couple more worms, which is pretty great because right now, Nicola would normally be sleeping. Bats like Nicola are nocturnal, which means they're gonna come out at night and look for bugs. So if you think about it, whenever you're out at night, that's probably when you get a lot of bug bites. And that's a good time for him to come out and eat all of those bugs. Another one, there you go. So like I said, Nicola is a microbat, and microbats are bats native here to the US. There's over 1,400 different species of bats. That's a lot of different types of bats. There's tons of different kinds of bats. And he's one of the bats here in the US that eats insects. In a few moments, we're gonna go meet a bat called a megabat. And the megabats do not live here in the US. And instead of eating insects, they're going to eat lots of yummy fruits. And hopefully we'll get a chance to see some of them doing that. But if you take a good look at Nicola, you see maybe even that he has some teeth, some sharp teeth to chew up his insects. He has eyes, so he has pretty good eyesight. He has a good sense of smell. And he has big ears, all of the things that you guys would recognize that you have as a mammal, also other mammals have. So we're going to go ahead and let Nicola go back to bed since he is nocturnal. We're going to put him back in his little hammock here. And we're gonna let him go back to naps. And I'm gonna take you guys out to our enclosure just on the other side of this window so you can meet some of our larger bats. We're gonna take some fruit with us. Today we have some mango and some melon, and we're gonna meet some of those big mega bats. So this is where our bats live. The bats you're gonna meet are from Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia. Some are from the area near Australia. So we're gonna meet some of our bats today. This is Mortimer. Hi, Mortimer. And Mortimer was enjoying some of his melon. So Mortimer, can we see you up close? So right now he's chewing up his melon. But you see he has very big eyes. He has a big nose. He has a tongue and lots of teeth. He's got big ears. So Mortimer, he's going to be using that eyesight and that sense of smell to find fruit. That's right. Mortimer is a fruit bat. Hi, Mortimer. Mortimer also has really great wings. So you're going to get a chance to see some of his wings. He has his whole upper arm is in his wing. So all of his arm, upper arm, lower arm, and all of these lines that you see here, those are his fingers. And a lot of times when the bats are walking around, they'll use their thumbs to hook up to the top. Right now you can get a close-up view of his feet. So bats are adapted. That means they have all of these characteristics on their body to help them have this upside down lifestyle. Hi, Mortimer. We also have our friend Voodoo here. Hi, Voodoo. So you get a chance to see also Voodoo is covered in fur because he's a mammal and he's able to fly. We have Camelot. Hi, Camelot. And Camelot a lot of times just likes to hang from one foot. That's okay, but he's going to open up and show us his wings a little bit. Hi, Camelot. We also have Miracle. Hi, Miracle. Miracle is very interested. He is a Malayan flying fox. So all of these flying foxes eat fruit. And they are able to fly, but a lot of times flying requires a whole bunch of energy. So they prefer just sometimes to walk. And they'll kind of walk on the ceiling using those thumbs. So here are his thumbs right there with the claws. And so he'll use his thumbs and his feet to help him walk around like he's doing right now. There you go, Miracle. So we can see if Miracle would like some treats today. So we're gonna give him, maybe he likes mango. We're gonna test this out and see how he feels about mango. There you go. So Miracle likes mango. Where Miracle lives, he is gonna be eating fruit, but he's also not gonna eat the seeds. When he doesn't eat the seeds, they're gonna fall to the ground. Once they fall to the ground, they can hopefully become brand new trees, which make more fruit, and that makes Miracle pretty happy, along with all the people who also eat the fruit. So fruit bats are very important because they're gonna help us to grow more fruit. They're gonna help us to regrow parts of the forest that may have been damaged. So they're gonna really be important for that ecosystem. Along with that, a lot of our fruit bats are pollinators. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna go from flower to flower, eating those flowers, and they're going to go ahead and they're going to pick up some pollen on their fur, and then they're gonna take that pollen and drop it off in other flowers. And we're gonna go see one of our biggest bats. His name is Calvin. And Malayan flying foxes like Calvin are some of the biggest bats on the planet. So Calvin has a wingspan of 5.5 feet. We also have our friend Ronan here who's enjoying melon. This is Ronan and Trouts, also Malayan flying foxes. You can even hear Calvin talking in the background. We're gonna see if he wants some mango. Nice. I know, I heard you. So these two guys right here are playing around with their kebab, which had melon on it. And we're gonna see if they also want a little bit of mango. Want some mango? So these fruit bats or flying foxes have a lot of important roles in the ecosystem. They're going to drop fruit and help us to grow new plants. They're also going to pollinate those plants. So without these bats, it would be really hard for us to maintain our rainforests and also for us to keep growing plants and crops that we like to eat. So Calvin, do you want to show us your wings? No. What about you, Trout? We also have one of our bats over here who is enjoying some mango in his foot. So not only do they use their feet to climb around in, but sometimes it's like an extra hand. So you can get a chance to see how they have all of these great adaptations or traits that help them and help them be successful in their upside down lifestyle. Now, next to this bat, you're going to see some juice. These bats not only eat fruits, they also like to drink nectar. And nectar is the liquid that flowers make. They also like to eat flowers, and sometimes they even eat leaves. Sometimes I've even seen some of our bats eat grass. That's right. I tried to tell them they're not cows, but they didn't listen to me. So some of our bats will even eat grass. There you go. And we have a couple more of our bats over here. So we had a pumpkin that was hanging up with some fruit in it, vegetables in it. And then we have some more kebabs that we put up for our bats. So we have two more bats here. Hi guys. We have Miracle and Zeke. And these are also two of our Malayan flying foxes. Oh, sorry, bud. So we're gonna offer them some mango as well. Where these bats live in Asia, they're gonna pollinate over 70 different types of plants. That can include plants like mango that they're eating right now. It also include plants like banana. It also even includes some fruits like cashews and different nuts, all kinds of things. Wings, but inside his wings, you're going to also maybe notice that he has his hand fingers that we might relate to fingers through his wings. So they're embedded pretty much into his wing, but you can also see that he's very furry. Hi. But you can also notice a lot of the things about them that you have in common with them. So you see that nose, that sense of smell, their large eyes for their eyesight, their ears. You also get a chance to see these are their thumbs. So if you hold your thumb up, this is the same as what they have right there. And so a lot of times they use their thumbs to help them walk. They use their thumbs to communicate with other bats. They use their thumbs to grab things. Let's see if they'll do that for us today. So let's see if we can get him to, you gonna grab it? Nope, he's just gonna take it in his mouth because it's delicious. So again, as Mulu is eating and enjoying his mango, he's gonna spit out seeds. So he's not gonna swallow any of the seeds. He's gonna spit them out and then they could become new plants. Also, you notice all of the fur around his face. There you go, buddy. So that's gonna be a good place for pollen to get stuck on. So now you get an idea of how he uses that thumb. Hi. And so we're going to see if they want to have some more fruit. They also do a lot of snacking and smacking with their mouths. So they're not very quiet eaters, that's for sure. They do a lot of smacking. And then here at Lubee, we care for our bats. We try to give them the best care that we can. So we do have veterinarians that come and they come and look at them and take care of them if we have any injuries or if we have any reason for a bat to need any assistance from a veterinarian. Since they are mammals, a lot of their systems are going to be the same as any other mammal or similar to you and me, people. But what's the big difference is those wings and the fact that they can fly. There you go. You can get a close-up look at his feet also. So interesting about their feet is that he doesn't have to use his muscles right now to hang. His muscles are locked in place. Essentially, he has a ligament running down his foot, and that ligament is going to help him stay in place. Whenever he wants to use his muscles to fly, he's going to have to send a signal from his brain to his feet, and then his feet will have to use the muscles to release from the ceiling in order to fly. And these guys do fly in here. They are able to fly, but like I said, it requires a whole bunch of energy. Sometimes they prefer just to hang out and walk around, but they can fly if they want to. Let's see, how are you doing, Lulu? Awesome. You also might notice Mulu has very distinct ears. So we have over 160 bats here at Lubee. So you might be thinking, well, if you have all of those bats, how do you tell them apart? And that is a really good question. So Mulu has very unique ears. He has a rounded ear. This bat right here has a mask, so his face is a little bit darker. So we can see a couple of different traits that our bats have. And we can come over here and one of our bats who's showing off his wings. Hi, Pitch. This is Pitch. Pitch is very curious. A lot of our male bats are very curious about what we're doing, but we don't hold or handle our bats. They're not our pets. We provide the best animal care that's possible, and that doesn't include holding them. So we might only have to handle a bat for emergency or medical purposes, but we don't take them home and we don't cuddle because we do try to keep them as wild as possible, essentially. Even though we have had over 700 bats born here at Lubee, we do have a couple of pups right now. We have 5 pups and they're still nursing with their mom. We're hoping soon, in the next 2 months, they're going to start to eat solid food. Hi, Pitch. Pitch is really interested and he really wants to be on video today. Hi, Pitch.
So Angela, we've got a couple more minutes till it's 9:25.
Okay.
Just letting you know the time. Maybe we could do poll questions at 9:25 and then a Q&A after that. We've got so many questions.
That sounds great. Hi. So can we see your wings? There you go. Have some cantaloupe. Today they're getting some cantaloupe and mango, which is some of their favorite fruits. So we feed our bats a diet of apples. They get carrots, sweet potato, melon, grapes. They even get some kale, that green plant stuff. Powdery vitamins in with their food. And our bats are not strictly nocturnal. These megabats are very active in the early morning and in the evenings. Sometimes we can see them at night and see them being active. We have 2 live stream cameras here. We go through the website explore.org. So if you ever want to see what our bats are doing any time of the day, that means 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you could go onto that website, explore.org, and you can see what our bats are up to. Sometimes we even want to see what they're doing at nighttime. We've caught a couple of our baby or younger bats have been starting to fly. So that's been pretty interesting. They don't usually do that too much when we're here. They're mostly experimenting with flying in the evening. And this is our friend Morty again. And then we could come and see Calvin and hi, Crimson. Hi, Calvin. So Calvin, you might hear him talking or barking. So he's usually talking to us and telling us everybody else that we are in his space, in his enclosure. And then that way, all the other bats know that there's a person in here. Hi. You're very interested today. Crimson is very interested. So all the bats we've met so far are males. We do also have females here as well, but the females are a little less interested in having us around for classes or filming. Some of them are very interested. In fact, we have some bats here that were considered endangered species. And so we try to help them in the wild because we don't want them to go extinct. We don't want them to disappear. And we help to support local communities that can help and make sure that their bats populations are well and good and that they have everything that they need to be successful.
All right, Angela, are you ready to do poll questions?
Certainly, we're ready.
Awesome. Hate to interrupt. This is so cool, but we're gonna start.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, first question is, what is an important job that fruit bats do in their ecosystems? And the answer questions are: bats are pollinators, bats don't do anything important, bats just sleep, or bats just fly.
Wow, lots of good answers.
Oh yeah.
Are you want to end that poll and
Yep,
show
looks
the?
like everyone's
and
got
then,
that one.
Looks like, all right, so
then Angela, can you answer that question for us?
Yes, I think everybody's done a really great job. Bats are really great pollinators, so you guys did wonderful. Bats here in the US are great pollinators, along with bats from you just saw the megabats from Southeast Asia. So we need them to help pollinate our plants, for native plants, also for any some of our plants that we might eat as well. So they're very important.
alrighty. Thank you. Next question is, what group do bats belong to? Birds, mammals, reptiles, or fish? You guys are already doing awesome. Alrighty.
Everyone's got that one too.
Okay. 83%.
Got a lot of future bat experts here.
All
All right, so Angela, can you answer that?
Yeah, everybody's done great so far. As you guys got it right, bats are mammals. In fact, behind the rodents, they are the most they have the most number of species in their group. So like I said, there's almost 1,400 different types or kinds or species of bats in the world. So they really make up a big group of mammals. They're called Chiroptera, which means hand wing. So that's the group that they're in the big group of mammals. Just like we are primates and we fit into that group of mammals as well. So great job.
Awesome job, guys. Next question is, what senses might a fruit bat use to find their food? Eyesight and sense of smell, touch, luck, or hearing? Alrighty, we're gonna end that poll.
Yeah, you guys did great. So our fruit bats or flying foxes are going to be looking for fruit. So the eyesight and sense of smell, they really enjoy fruit that's starting to even go past the ripe point. Ripe fruits and starting to get past that is some of their favorite things. So those things are really start to smell. And that's how they're going to locate those yummy, tasty fruits.
Awesome. And the last question we have is, what is something, let me launch that. What is something you can do to help bats where you live? Alrighty, we're gonna end that poll.
Yeah, this is great. I'm so glad you guys said all of these things. So here at Lubee, we actually help to put up bat houses around the state of Florida. We've put up almost 100 bat houses, but we also like to consult and help people to put up their own bat houses. You can put up your own bat house. You can purchase a bat house that's already made, or you can make your own bat house. And we love to give ideas about where and how it is best to put up a bat house. Also, a lot of people have misconceptions about bats, and sometimes they seem a little scary. So if you can tell other people how great and awesome bats are, that's a really good start right there. Another way is to respect bats and other wildlife. So if you see bats in the wild, of course, you don't want to harm or touch them. If you see a hurt bat, you can call a local rehabilitator and they can help to support and take care of that bat. If you see another harmed wildlife, definitely call someone who's trained and has knowledge to care for them. So you really want to give them space and, of course, respect the wildlife and their habitats. So great job on all of those.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. So let's move on to our Q&A. And we've got so many questions for you.
Yay.
So some people are asking how old are the bats, or how old can they get?
Great. So in the wild, our Malayan flying foxes who you just met are larger bats. They can live 15 to 20 years. Here at Lubee, we have several that are pushing 30. So some of the bats you just met are aged between 12 and 16. So some of our older bats here were the ones that you met that were enjoying a lot of the fruits. We do have some baby bats right now, and usually once the bats reach 1, they're going to start to separate and make their own groups. And then when the bats reach ages 3 to 5 years old, then they might start looking for a mate and be interested in that. So some of my favorite bats here are in their 20s. And as bats get older, we do start to manage their care a little bit more closely. Sometimes we have to watch and make sure that their feet are working well and that they have mobility and that their flight is well. And every once in a while, we may even have to give them some medication just to help with any age-related injuries or age-related deficits that they need.
Great. Isabella asks, do the bats bite?
That's a great question. So you notice that I was not putting my hands anywhere near their mouths. That's why I was using a stick or a kebab. So we do the kebab feedings. Any animal that has the mouth and teeth, I assume can bite. So we don't put our hands anywhere near their mouths. If we do need to handle a bat, only the staff here is trained to handle our bats. And of course, we take great care if we do need to handle or hold any of our bats wearing really thick gloves. So yes, they could bite. but only if they were forced to, I think.
Okay, thank you. So somebody else asks, let me see. A lot of questions. Doo-doo. What Caleb Starkey asks, what age do they start to fly?
So some of our pups are actually starting to fly now. So our oldest pup is about 5 months. So I think around the 4 to 5 months period, up until about 2.5, 3 months, they really stay on mom the whole time. They nurse on mom. They don't really move away from her. She can wrap her wings around them and protect them. So really not until about the 4 or 5 month time period, they'll start to walk a little way on their own, a little bit, not hanging on mom all the time, and they'll start to test their flying skills.
Awesome. Someone else asks, how do they pollinate?
Oh, that's a great question. So even our native bats here in Florida, they'll go around and they will also enjoy some nectar. As they stick their noses or rostrums into the flowers, they can use their tongues to get nectar. The pollen will stick to their fur. And then as they travel from flower to flower, that pollen will get stuck on the different parts of the plant and the flowers, and then it will start to help pollinate. So there are some plants out there, like the upside down tree, for example, in Africa, that is really solely pollinated by bats. Bats that come out during the evening, the flowers will bloom in the evening, and they'll only bloom for, I think, a day or two. And then the bats will come and pollinate. The way that the flower is designed, it's not really designed for any other animal to access the pollen. So when the bats go to pollinate, they're really going for nectar or different parts of the flower that they enjoy. And then they'll be able to transmit the pollen.
Awesome. And someone else asks, how do they eat upside down? I know that's hard for us to do, but
Yeah, it's
how
kind
do
of funny
bats do
too.
that?
Yeah, so if you think about it, you do have muscles inside your neck and your throat and your mouth. And for them, you might notice also when they are eating, their head is kind of headed up a little bit. So their nose is pointing upward sometimes, but they do have, we have one bat here, I call him Banana Face, because whenever he's eating his banana, he seems to let all of the juices drip down in between his nose. So their nose is actually looks like 2 separate little openings, and there's a little drip channel right down the middle of their nose where some of that can go. And so they really don't have a lot of challenges eating upside down. And we give them juices and stuff. And they use all of their muscles in their neck to help them swallow, just like we do.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you know what their average weight is of the larger bats?
Yeah.
Maybe compared to our native bats.
Yeah, our large Himalayan flying foxes are pretty heavy because they're very different from birds. Birds will have hollow bones. So that means there's not a lot of vascularization or blood vessels or anything in their bones. But all of our bats are like us. Their bones are very similar to ours. So they're actually pretty light though. So when we weigh our bats, we weigh them in kilograms. And I think one of our bats that we saw today is about 1,800 kilograms. And 1 kilogram is about 2.2 pounds. So our bats usually, the larger ones that you met, are usually somewhere between 3.5 to maybe 4.5 pounds. So if you can think about that.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Can bats have more than one baby?
They can, yes. Here at Lubee, we've only had a total of 7 sets of twins. But we currently have a set of boy twins right now. But most of the time, they just have one baby or one pup.
Wow, so they can actually have twins. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. We helped them out with the most recent set. because it's a lot for mom.
And Tomakari Maria asks, why do they hang upside down? Why do bats hang upside down?
So from what I understand, it is a biological adaptation. So in the wild, animals start to adapt, or they're able possibly to find different places in the ecosystem where they're successful. And then this was something that was successful for bats. Hanging upside down really helps them also to be really great flyers. They don't have to get a running start. They don't have to release very far. All our bats really need to do is use their muscles to release their feet, and they're off. So it definitely helps with avoiding predators and a lot of movement. There are several bat species that are migratory, which means they travel long distances, whether it's for food or mating or seasonally. We have some bats here from Africa that are known to have the greatest migration. So that it really helps them to be great flyers.
Great. And some people are asking where you are located again. So maybe they'd like to visit and check out the Lubee Bat Conservancy.
Yeah, that would be great. So we're in Gainesville, Florida. It's in central North Florida. We're just north of the city of Gainesville. And we do private tours most days. We also do Zoom classrooms. We do field trips. We do adult events. In fact, we just had our awesome Bat Fest. So it was this long day festival celebrating bats. So we are also in the same town as University of Florida. So if you're ever coming up here for that as well, or if you're driving through Florida, and we have a website that has a lot of great information on it. So you can go to lubee.org. That's LUBEE.org. And you can check out our website. You could also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and now I think we also have an awesome TikTok going. So there's a lot of ways that you could connect with us. And if you're able to come and visit us, we would just love it. So you can always check out our website and see what our availability is. And you can always email us and contact us.
Thank you so much for that info. Yeah, check out their website. We got another question from Anderson Marlene. How much do bats eat a day?
Oh, that is a really great question. So we have our bats in one group, and we really group our bats according to personality and how they get along. So we do have a couple of enclosures that have a couple of different species together, but just because they all get along. So our Malayan flying foxes are going to be eating the most. And we usually give them, so right now for 11 bats, we have a total of 22 food bowls. So it's about 2 bowls of food per bat. And usually not all of that will get eaten. When we come in the morning, we'll usually find some left. So we'll have 2 food bowls per bat, and in each food bowl is going to have a mixture of the apples, the carrots, the sweet potato, banana, grapes, melons, and some extra vitamins we put in there as well. So if you think if we have 160 bats, and we usually have about 2 bowls per bat, so that is a lot of food. When we go to make our diets, we usually have 2 big tubs of apples and pears. We have a whole big tub of kale and sweet potatoes and carrots. And then we have a whole big bin of grapes and melons. So of course, we will actually do all of the diets here. So we will clean all of the fruits, cut them all up, wash all the bowls, and put everything back. And we do that every day for them, even when it's holidays.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
So, man, we have so many questions, and sorry, we're not going to be able to get through all of them today. But yeah, we just want to thank you so much for being with us today, Angela, and for taking your time to show us how to better understand and respect these flying foxes. You're so awesome, and you make such a positive impact in the lives of these bats and the people who live in Florida too. So thank you.
Thank you. We're so glad that you guys included us and we were able to talk to you about our awesome bats and how great bats are and just how amazing they are for the ecosystem and for people.
Yeah, and if you guys have more questions, just reach out to Lubee Bat Conservancy.
Please do. You can email us at info@lubee.org. You can go to our website. You can check us out. Ask us anything.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks everybody so much. And tune in to our next virtual field trip next month, November 18th. And that's going to be with the Florida Wildlife Hospital. So hope everyone has a great day. Angela, you have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Megan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Marine Resources Council. Have a great day.
Bye.